Oh man,
Go.
welcome to Firepit Conversations. I'm one of your co-hosts, Aaron,
And I'm your other co-host, Ronnie.
and it's been a while. Thank you guys for tuning in. Um, Ronnie, let's check in. What's been going on with you, brother?
You know, you know what? Just work. And I'm really thinking about a little vacation. I feel like all summer I did so much ripping and running and going and this place and that place. And I feel like I haven't been on a trip in a while. So now I need to be planning a trip soon, but not sure where. But yeah, that's all that's been up with me. That and work. What about you, Aaron?
Same thing. Work, traveling, work. I was thinking about a vacation too, bro. I don't know where, but I was thinking about, man, I was looking up Seattle. I was looking up different shit, but I definitely want a vacation too. But yeah, just work.
But we have been talking about a brother's trip, so this might be the time since we both itching for a little vacay. We may need to plan something.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall
Preferably somewhere with a beach,
always,
since it's getting cold out that though.
always, maybe Fort Lauderdale. You know, it's one of my favorite places to visit.
What could do for it, Lottie?
We'll keep y'all posted where we decide on where to go. So we have a friend at the fire pit, and this
She more
friend.
like family. Don't do that to her. She more like family.
Well, I'm saying at the fire pit, she's a guest to the fire pit. She is a friend of ours at the fire pit. She is a guest. She is family. We are happy to have her here, and we cannot wait for you all to hear her story. So, Octavia, can you just say hi to the people?
Hi, Firepit.
All right, y'all. So, before we get started, you know what we must do? We got to see what everybody brought to the fire pit. So, I'm going to start with our guest. Octavia, what did you bring with you today to the fire pit?
I got my smoke and I got me some Stella Rosa Black Lux wine.
Okay, little classy, demure. All right, I
Very
feel you.
cutesy.
Yes. What about you, Aaron? What you bring to the pit?
Um, I just got my smoke and I got some Crown Peach with some Sprite.
Ooh, that Crown Peach. And you know that's Octavia's favorite drink, that Crown
You
Peach.
know, man, that bottle that you
There it is. But
sipping
you know
on. I
she
might, I might switch to the Remy Martin though. If
okay.
it get the conversation get real good, might switch to the Remy Martin 1738. But
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Go ahead. I only know bits and pieces of the story, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Go ahead and get your Remy ready. Get your Remy ready because it's a story.
okay,
All
all
right.
right, that's
And
my fault.
I brought a nice little lemon drop. I used my Bartison. It was my Christmas present, or maybe anniversary present or Valentine. It was a present. Tony bought it for me and I'm using it. It mixed my cocktail for me. Y'all, if y'all don't have a Bartison out there in Fire Pit Land, get one. Game changer. Love it. But that is enough about us. We want to hear from Miss Octavia. So, Octavia, tell us what brings you to the fire pit.
So I do want to start off by saying I am not adopted. Never have I ever been, and I've never adopted anyone. But I did age out of the foster care system at 18. So that's how I got here.
Okay, so this is a different kind of episode for us. Typically, we have people who have either adopted or were adopted themselves, but we got something different. So I'm ready for it. So I want you to take us back to wherever you want to start your story, your journey in the foster care system. Where did it start? When and where did it start?
At birth, I was born. My mom was on drugs. And of course, when any child is born with drugs, DSS automatically gets involved. But first thing they try to do is place you with family versus putting you directly in the system. So I was placed with my grandmother for kinship, is what they would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I stayed with my grandmother from the time I was born until literally a month before my first birthday.
Okay. So you was with grandma for a year, of just
Mhm.
about a year, right under a year. And then what happens next?
I was placed back with my mom Of course, she had then completed everything that the courts and DSS had asked her to complete in order to get me back. She did have three other kids, so I had three siblings before me. So once she completed all her drug classes and parenting classes, I went back there. Kind of stayed with my mom from one until about five, kind of going back and forth between her and my grandma. And then DSS took us for good. Well, took me for good at nine. And then I went to my grandmother, then still having a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Then permanently in DSS, not even with any family at 11.
And so, for y'all who are listening, in case you don't know what DSS is, because it's called something different in different states, like in Georgia,
Everywhere.
they call it DFACS, Ohio, we call it CSV. DSS is the Department of Social Services. So, any of those social service programs is where is housed there within DSS. So, that's what we call it for short. Regardless of what everybody else calls it, we call it DSS here in South Carolina. So, Octavia, you said that at about 5 years old, you you were taken
But
away again.
I went
What
back to my
happened?
grandmother.
Okay, so what happened to make that happen?
Okay, so anybody know once defect or DSS gets involved, when them people get involved, they stay there. They up and stuck, so they never leave.
Mm.
So they would randomly do drug tests on my mom.
Mhm.
Um, and if she failed, they took us out of the home because, of course, they felt like it wasn't safe.
Mhm.
Being that that was initially how they got involved in the first place was drugs. So anytime they would randomly drug test her and she would fail, they would take us out of the home temporarily.
Got you. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So then I don't. Okay. Okay. So
Okay, so then you said at what, at 11, you
Mm-hmm.
were permanently taken out? So then
I
what
was
happened?
permanently taken from my grandmother then and placed into
Okay.
DSS custody. I mean, into like foster homes and group homes. So what happened then? I was a little bad little child, fighting but I had my reasons for doing the things that I was doing. The household was unsettled,
Yeah.
so I would take it out
Right.
at school and get in trouble at school. Um, so what took me out permanently? I had gotten kicked out of school, and my grandmother was like, "Yeah, y'all can just come and get her."
Mm.
Um, so initially when they came and got me, the plan was to go to this group home called New Hope for Children in Jetburg, South Carolina, for this treatment plan until I figure out how to stop fighting people, kids in school. But
Mm.
while you're in these treatment centers, they put you in counseling. So you have to talk about, things that happened and what, how you got here, why you fight so much. And that's when they discovered me being sexually assaulted in the home at my grandmother's house. So initially the treatment plan was to complete the treatment plan and return back to my grandmother with my siblings. But once they found that I was being sexually assaulted in her home, it was like, nah, so you
You
can't go back
can't go back.
there.
Right.
so hold on. So
Mm.
hold on. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Just a little bit. So that happened at 11. You was
Mhm.
removed from home at 5, and you said something happened at 9. What happened at 9 years old?
At nine, we had gotten taken away from my mom and went to go stay with my grandma, but I was still being bad. So I went to go stay with my uncle in Greenwood from 9 until 10. When my mom got herself together, instead of sending me back to my grandmother, I was able to go back to my mom because all of my siblings had not went back there. So
Mm.
at 10, we were staying there, things was going good. And then one day me and my sister came home from school, and this random guy was sitting in the living room. We walked in there, we spoke, and she introduced us, as her kids, and told us this man name was Curtis. And me and my sister went into the back room and was playing the game. She asked us to go to the store for her, and then when we came back, bro was standing at the end of my mama's house and was like, "I'm your daddy."
Oh,
So
It was like, wait a fucking minute.
So
Now
what?
pause. Let me tell y'all this. So let me just give y'all this, right? From the time I was a newborn until 10, my mom had always told me that this man named Don Wilson was my dad. Me and my sisters supposedly had the same daddy, and we knew his family, we knew his sisters, we had met his dad, but we had never met him because from our understanding, he was in New York, right? But his family was still in South Carolina. So I had always just known my dad to be Don Wilson. So this random fella named Curtis was like, "Who you?" You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So before meeting Curtis, did you have a relationship with Don?
No, I had never met him,
Okay.
never seen him. He was in New York, but I knew his family. Like I knew his other son. I knew all of his sisters and brothers. We would go there for the holidays, for the summer. So we knew them. We just never saw him, never got a chance to talk to him. You know, back then, long distance calls cost a lot, baby. You either was collect
Yeah.
calling or you don't talk at all. You gotta wait till the people come home for a funeral or something.
Right.
But
Right.
you know, nobody was really dying there, so we didn't get a chance to meet, bruh, at that point.
Hmm.
So by 10, you have been removed from your home multiple times, back and forth from your mama house to your grandmama house to your uncle house, back to your mama house. You didn't know your dad, but you knew his people. And then at 10, you find out that you got this man who you thought was your daddy ain't
Another
your
daddy.
daddy. And you got another man as your daddy.
Correct.
Oh, that's a lot for a 10-year-old.
Correct.
So
It's a lot.
so what was the final straw that removed you permanently from your mom into care?
Okay, so at 10, when I got introduced to this fella, Curtis, supposedly being my dad, my mom had never had a man in the household, right? So she allowed him to come in and, you know, like he lead the house and he run shit, you know?
Mhm.
So when I would get in trouble, instead of her disciplining me, she would allow him to beat me. And I had like that. So I had to tell my grandmama, like, hey, you know, and this man is beating me. And she was like, well, next time he beats you, run to my house. Bet I'm coming. So I came home one day and I had gotten into a fight at school, and my mama came to the school and she was like, when you get home, your daddy gonna cut your ass. And in my mind, I'm like, nah, sis, I got another plan. He might get one or two licks, but I'm out the door, you know?
Mhm.
So when I got home, I don't know if y'all know what a hickory stick is, but it's like the really, really thick switches that has the thorns kind of sticking out of it.
Oh my. Okay.
Um, so he had, you know, went to go beat me with the switch. And in my mind, I'm like, I just need to get out this door so I can get to my grandmama's house. You know, I got about a 5-10 minute run. I gotta get out the door. But every time I would get in trouble and get a beating, I would run. So at this point, they were sick of me. So my mama had my brother blocking the door. So I went and run out the door. So while the man was beating me, I'm trying to get from him and run out the front door, but my brother's blocking the front door. So I then go out the back door. By the time I get loose and get to my grandmama's house, I didn't know I was bleeding, but apparently I was bleeding. Had to end up getting 36 stitches. So when my grandmother took me to the hospital to get these stitches, DSS was like, yeah, no, we cannot let her go back there. So that's how I ended up going to my grandmother at 10.
Mm. Whew. Oh shit. Jeez. So then between 10 and 11, you stayed with your grandmother.
Yeah, I was with my granny. I was happy because, you know, that was where I was first, you know, born and raised at. My grandmama was my girl. So yeah, I was like, I just want to go to my grandma's house. I don't want to be here with this man. You got him in here screaming daddy. I had already felt like he wasn't my dad. Because I had never heard of him, right? I didn't look anything like him. Um, and I just kept saying, like, y'all are crazy. This ugly man is just not my daddy. Like, somebody can't see, it ain't right. And I tell this story all the time. Like when he first came, my grandmother was in the hospital, so she wasn't really home to set my mama straight to be like, no, that ain't her, you know, that ain't her daddy. So when my
Mm.
grandmother had came home from the hospital and I went to go and see her with this man, her and my aunt, and I'm just like, you know, my grandma won't be like, that is not that girl daddy. So when we all walked in the house, my grandma was like, well, you know, Lane, who this man? And my mama said, you know, that's Octavia's daddy. And my grandmama said, who? So I sit up straight, chest out, chin up, because I need you to see all my features and see this man so you can get your daughter together and tell her that's not her daddy. And my grandmother looked and said, oh my God, they're twins.
No.
Oh no.
And you thought your grandma was on your side.
I thought sis was gonna be on my side. I was hurt. I cried, and I cried, snot running down my nose. Y'all remember Roscoe off of Martin when he used to have all the little like I was crying, and my grandmama was like, "Well, what's wrong?" And I was like, "This ugly is not ready." And my mama beat me again because don't say that. You too grown. Stay in the child plate.
So I want you to go back to 10-year-old Octavia, if you can. What is going through your mind with the constant ping-ponging back and forth from this house to that house? Like, is it weird to you? Is it the norm? You think everybody raised like that? Like, what?
It's
What are
definitely
you
normal.
thinking?
It was definitely normal for
Okay.
me to go back and forth. And then I had just gotten to a point where I was like, I don't really want to go back and forth. I want to stay with my grandma. So when the man had beat me and I knew some people was gonna be like, no, you can't go back there. I was like, I finally get to permanently stay with my grandmama.
Yeah.
Mm.
And is
So
that
when
when the
they
sexual violation started?
yes.
Okay. Do you want to talk about any of that?
I mean, sure, what's the question?
So you said that you had experienced some sexual violation and it was at your grandmother's house.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when it started? And
10.
it was 10 when it started.
Mm.
And in those moments, like what's going on in your mind?
So Um, I knew it wasn't right. My grandmother used to always have this thing where I don't care if somebody touch you, you let me know. I don't care who it is, you make sure you let me know. That's the black state, the staple in the household, that if they touch you, I don't
Mhm.
care who it is. But then when you go to them and it's somebody close to them, it's like, oh no, we didn't hear that. It gotta be somebody outside
Yeah.
of the house for them to act an ass about, not nobody in the house.
Right.
Um, so my grandmother, we stayed in some apartments, and it was this older lady named Miss Grace, and she had already knew, and she was like, "You need to tell your grandma." And I said, "Well, my grandmama is mad at me, and anytime my grandma would get mad at me for something I didn't do, she used to play like the siblings against each other, right? It was a thing for her." So she was like, "Just take something to her, and then just be like, you need to talk to her." And when I went to that night, she was on the phone talking to somebody, and I went to go take her some water. And she was like, you've been walking around here all day with an attitude. Don't bring me nothing. And I was like, well, Grandma, I just need to talk to you. And she was like, what you got to say? And I was like, Bujay, which is my brother, has been touching me. Oh, you a fucking liar. You a liar. You a liar. I was like, okay, cool. So I pack up my stuff because at this point I'm crying. I feel like you on the phone trying to show off. You ain't really even trying to hear me. You doing all this talking because you on the phone. So I got my
Mm.
stuff and she was like, do what you always do, run away. So I packed my shit and I left. And I
Where
left
did you run to?
my godmama house. So shout out to the goat, Loretta. Um, my godmama always made it's okay for you to come here. I don't care
Mm.
what's going on, you can come here. And I ran from my grandmother's house to go to the police station so they could just take me because the run was too long. It was dark. um,
It was a good idea before you left.
yeah,
Right. In
so
theory, it was gonna work out, but then you was like, wait a minute, Loretta lived too far.
too far. So it was a bunch of woods. It wasn't just like a street light. So I was like, if I get to the police station and tell these people what's going on, and they'll just take me there until the DSS can open in the morning and we can figure this out. And I don't even gotta stay there no more, right? So I had a plan. So on the midst of me going to the police station, my brother's best friend had reached, right? Um, so now I'm really at the police station after he done left, and I'm fucking distraught because I don't know if I'm distraught now for what happened at home or what just happened beside y'all, the police department, because it happened right next to the police department. Um, and then when I got in there, the man was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" I said, "I just need you to take me to my godmama house. I don't even care to tell you what's wrong. My plan was I need to get to my godmama house." And he was like, what's going on? So I'm telling this man what happened. So now they're looking for the guy, my brother's best friend,
Best
right?
friend. Yeah.
At this point, I never told them about my brother. I just told them about his best friend. So Denmark is small. Everybody knows everybody. So he's like, "You want me to take you to your grandmama's house?" No, sir. I need you to get me to my godmama house. So I got to my godmama house, and my godmama had already knew that this was going on with my brother as well, because I had already told her. So she was like, "He did it again." And I looked at her and I said, "No, Maurice." And I was able to stay to my godmama house until that Monday morning. And then DSS came and got me and took me for good. I couldn't stay there. And I couldn't go back to my grandmama's house.
That's so at 10, that's a lot. Like that's a lot for someone to go through. And what I will say is I just commend you for being, I know you personally, so being the person that you are and achieving the things that you have done, I just commend you because some people, would have broke, but you didn't. So I'm glad that you've been able to be resilient and kind of overcome that. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I try. I can't let stuff. I mean, it's things that I can't control. And I tell people all the time, as a child, I couldn't control none of that, right? Like I didn't have the funds to control where I was. Um, I didn't have the mental mindset to control. But as an adult, these are things that I can control. And I can't use that as a crutch to get a sympathy card to be dumb. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that.
So, what was your experience after you left your grandmother's house permanently?
Um So foster care was different. My grandmother had she used to use this tactic about if we didn't do certain things that she would ask us to do, that she was gonna call DSS to come get us, and it was gonna put us to this place that nobody loved us, and the people was gonna be mean to us. So I went into the group home like not letting nobody play with me because I don't know what y'all think this is, but I'll hurt y'all before y'all think y'all gonna play with me, right? So I went in sweet as pie. Everybody loved me. Um, and then it was this one girl. She thought she was the Billy badass, and I just, I think if you fight the baddest one, the rest of them will fall and leave you alone. So that's what I would go. That's what I went in my very first group home. I went in there, and that's what happened. Um, and I didn't know what was next after the group home, right? After the group home had done say, "Yeah, dog, you cannot go back you can't go back to nobody's house in Denmark. Like, you just get out your mind. You're never going back there." I didn't know what to expect. Like, what's next? Y'all gonna put me in another group home? Am I gonna go to a foster home? Do I get to go close to home so I can still have some sense of home? And nobody could give me clear answers. So I kind of went with the flow. I went in just feeling like, be yourself. People either gonna like you or they not gonna like you, but don't let nobody play with you. Um, and that's what it was. So my first group home, it was a co-ed group home. It was for young adolescents. We had kids in it that was 7, and you couldn't be there past the age of 12. So I was there from 11 until 2 months after my 12th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, the group home was like, "Hey, first of all, she shouldn't have been here past the year, and she's past 12, so y'all got to find something to do with her." So they had initially tried to get me adopted, and I got questions. I ain't no little child and don't know my people. I know my family. So with this adoption, will I still be able to see my sister? Will I still be able? Because at this point, I was still close to my grandmama, right? I wanted to go back with her. So will I still be able to see my grandmama? They said no. And I said, "Well, I don't want to be adopted." They gave me a guardian ad litem who was able to go to the courthouse and say she does not want to be adopted. So now we have to come up with a treatment plan for her in the foster care system. So that's the very next group home that I went to, was an all girls independent group home.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, you had to be 13 to go there because it was a teenagers group home, and you was there from 30. You could be there from 13 to 18. But I was 12. So they didn't have a foster home to put me in. And these people at New Hope was like, "Sis, time up. She gotta go." So they was able to get the lady who owned the group home in North Charleston called Tri-County Home for Girls. Shout out to Dr. Eunice Freeman. And she accepted me. And when she saw me, she was like, "You don't belong in here." I said, "I know."
I don't know why these people got me in here.
Look, I agree with you, sis. We on the
I
same
agree.
page.
I agree. I don't know why I'm here. I was trying to get back to Denmark for the longest. She said, "You don't belong in here, but you won't be going back to Denmark." I said, "So they got you on the game plan too, right?" And she was the first person who kind of just set me down. It was like, I need you to think with some damn sense for just a second. You ain't slow, but you ain't thinking with common sense. And she got me to see who my grandmother really was,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Um, and at that point I was like, yeah, I don't want to go there either. So now what y'all gonna do with me?
You can't go to the one foster care. You aged out of that one. You can't go to the other one because you're not old enough for that one. You
You
can't
didn't
go
want
back
to get
to Denmark.
adopted.
You don't want to be adopted. You picky.
Yeah, I feel like, and then y'all put me in these places with all these people, and everybody ain't don't raise up. I mean, I was 11, but my mom and my grandmother had done instill in me a lot. Even I was going through so much trauma, they instilled a lot in me that allowed me to be able to grow with some sense. So
Yeah.
these people here, they don't have the same level of sense I got. So I don't know if this gonna work. So the Dr. Eunice Freeman wanted to adopt me. And DSS is like conflict of interest. You cannot do that.
Hmm.
So she got her sister. Her sister quit the group home because her sister was working at the group home as well. Her sister quit the group home and went through the whole motion to try to get me, um, and adopt me. So I stayed with the group home in North Charleston for a year. So that was my seventh grade, second part of my seventh grade year, and the first part of my eighth grade year, right? So a
Hmm.
full kind of 12 months. And well, not even a full 12 months. Probably what, 6 months? Second part of school is January, and then so a year. Because by that December I was being moved again. So Miss Freeman, Dr. Eunice Freeman allowed me to stay there with the older girls, but she kept pushing for me to be in a foster home because she kept saying she's not as troubled as y'all think she is. She just needs somebody to love her. Nobody's taking the time to parent her, and I can't in this group home setting.
Right.
So she got them to change my treatment plan to go into a foster home, and that's when I went into my very first foster home for Christmas. She wanted me to bring in Christmas with a family setting.
Okay.
Um, then I went into a foster home with these people.
So you said you aged out of the foster care system. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know it all the nuances. But so that means from the time you were 10, almost 11-ish to 18, you have been in foster care. So whether
Yes,
that's foster care, group home, whatever, you've been in something like that from
correct.
10 to 18.
Yes.
In that time, was there ever a foster home or group home or whatever, a residential facility, if you will, that was most comfortable, that was not as bad as the others? Mm.
So
Sissy?
my most comfortable
Hmm.
for living situation as far as the cleanliness, having my own space, not having to share, was a group home in Clearwater, South Carolina, because it was some rich people who had houses on that looked like a compound. So it was big land and they just had a bunch of big houses there. So they turned them into group homes. So I had my own room. I had my own room. Like I had the master of the house. So a bathroom with the his and her sink, a big bedroom. But in the bedroom, it was three other beds. But I was the only person at the group home because it was fairly new. So I had my own space finally. So that was the most
Mm.
comfortable as far as living.
And
Um
it and and so what about like as far as like love, I guess, like was there a place where you felt the most loved, liked,
oh yeah, Tri
respected?
County.
Okay. Tell us about Tri-County some more.
So it was all girls. A lot of us shared the same story in one way or another. who all knew that we just wanted a sisterhood and to have somebody have our back because we felt like the people who were supposed to didn't, right?
Mm.
And so we all treat each other like
Say it one
I
more
was
time. We couldn't hear you.
everybody called me a baby sister. Y'all can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Say it one more
Yeah.
time.
Okay. So we all treated each other like sisters. So, we had each other back. If one fight, we all fight. One had an outfit, we all went and got an outfit, hair fix, we did each other's hair. So that felt more like family.
Got you.
Mm.
What advice do you give? What advice would you give people who are looking to foster or adopt? Like what? Because you've been in it. You've been in homes, you've been in houses, you've been in group homes, you have run the whole gamut. What advice do
Mm-hmm.
you give people who are looking to fulfill that feeling of I want to do something, I want to be a foster parent? Like what would you tell them?
Do it and don't judge them based off their records.
Mm.
Mm.
My record said I was a runaway. It said I was a runaway. I liked to fight. I was disobedient. But when I got into my foster homes and my group homes, they loved me because it was like, why is anybody taking the time to figure out why she's fighting? Is somebody bothering her? Like, don't judge based off of what you see and just get them to love them. Get them with pure intentions. Don't get them for a check. And if you get them with pure intentions to give them the love you feel like they're really missing, you're gonna make a world of a difference.
Mm. I
Ooh,
got a good. I got a question.
okay.
The weed done kicked in and the liquor did too. Um, so my question, I know, that's a lot that you've had to carry for a lot of your life. Um, but I mean, you said it earlier that you don't harbor on it. It's not something that makes you. Um, it's something that happened to you, but it's not who you are.
Right.
Um, what do you think was one of the something that you've had to work on as growth from trauma? I mean, that's what we're gonna call it. What do you think is one of something, maybe it's one or two things that you had to work on as you mature and get older?
Trust in the right people.
Oh,
Mm,
oh, oh! I'm gonna take a drink on that one. That
me
that
too.
felt.
That's a shot.
That's a shot. That felt. Can you go a little bit more in depth? What you mean?
um, Not everybody has good intentions.
Hmm.
Mm,
Anybody can put on a mask, right? And it's trusting yourself to know when something doesn't feel right to you, to believe it, to trust yourself first. And that'll tell you who you need to trust.
mm,
Um, and y'all realize, remembering, this entire setting that we've been talking, I've had some of the closest people that I felt like I should have been able to trust cross me, right?
mm,
So, and then going into group homes and seeing these people, and it's like, ain't no, if my people, my family don't do right by me, ain't no way somebody, y'all doing this for a check.
yeah.
And then what who was for it was people who did it with pure intention. So that was what I think was the biggest thing for me, trusting the right set of people.
Okay. Oh, Aaron, that was a good question. Oh, that was good. So here's what I'm gonna ask you. I want you to fast forward to 18-year-old Octavia. 18-year-old Octavia um has had a lot of trauma, has been removed from this home, been ping pong back and forth from this house to this house to this house, has been a victim of sexual trauma.
Hmm.
So much has gone on. 18-year-old Octavia, you done aged out the system. What happened? Like, I really want to know, like, what happens that you 18, they be like, okay, good luck. See what we see.
So initially, I was going to do the full extent. You can age out at 21, right? So
Okay.
for people who don't know, you can age out at 21. I was 17 when I graduated high school, and then I went to college. So 18-year-old Octavia on her 18th birthday found out she was pregnant.
Oh
Okay.
my
Oh,
God.
And the caseworker I had at that point was such a bitch. She had told me that if I had my child while being in DSS custody, that my child was going to be automatically be awarded a state. And I had knew that I had not want my child to see any parts of the system. So let me
None.
stop this before little bro get here and we can miss all of that. So that's when I went to her supervisor, which is my old caseworker, and I was like, hey, what I need to do to get up out here. And she was like, what do you mean get up out here? I said, out of foster care. And she was like, I said, where are you going? Where you going? What's your plan? We just can't let you just sign out because you're 18. And Dr. Eunice Freeman's sister, the one who was supposed to adopt me, she signed off and said she can come here.
mm.
So
So
I
you went to
signed
go
out.
live with her?
I was pregnant. Yeah, I had to sign out. I had to drop out of college because I had been hospitalized my first 4 months of my pregnancy. So I had to miss so much school. So when I dropped out and went back to Charleston, because that's where my son's father was, I was in school in Greenwood. So I went to Charleston and I stayed with Dr. Eunice's sister for probably like a month, because my son's father didn't want me to not be there with him. So I got out and DSS, my old caseworker, my very first caseworker, Miss Sally Branch, she said, I don't what's your plans? I said, do right by my baby. So I went and got a job. And then I went to her and I said, hey, y'all done had me for a long time. I don't get no benefits. Y'all just got a check for me for all this time and nobody gonna do nothing. So she was the one who kind of told me that they would help me with my very first apartment. So they paid my first year, my first apartment. They furnished my apartment.
Mm.
They got me my first car. So I still got the benefits, even though I didn't stay until 21 because I did age out. They set me up. Get my life together.
Mm. So I don't want to say DSS. I hate to say like, oh, well, it ain't all bad, but like there are some systems and policies and procedures in place that are in support of the young person who is in care. Is that because that's what I hear you
Correct.
saying?
Yes. Yes. I will say though, what I don't like is that we as the young kids that are in care, nobody's having these conversations with us, right? So
Mm.
it's not information that's just being voluntold to them. We shouldn't
Mm.
have to ask. And I feel like when y'all see that we're getting to the age or when you see that the child is getting to the age where they're getting to the point where they're going to want to go out on your own, let them know the resources that is offered.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you had your son,
I have my son. He's
and
16 now.
he is 16. You are an old mother now.
Mother.
That's your one and only?
That's my one and only, one and done.
One and done. So for you, what has it been like being a parent and not being parented in the most healthiest ways?
Mm.
I always knew what the type of parent I did not want to be.
Hmm.
So I did everything. I did the complete opposite. And I felt like if I did the complete opposite, it made me a good parent. And then
Okay.
I also incorporated on being the parent that I wanted, that I needed to help me parent KJ.
Which was what? What kind of parent did you want and need?
Somebody who was open and honest, regardless of how hurtful it may have been, but did it out of love.
Hmm.
Somebody who, whatever wild idea I could have came up with, explored it. I tell my brother all the time, I was never the child the opportunity to say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to do when you grow up? Right? Like, so For me, it was I wanted to be alive. First of all, let's get there. These people around here giving me stitches and shit, so I need to be alive. That's I definitely want to grow up to do that. And I gave my son the opportunity to say, "What do you want to do? What you want to be?" And invest in that, poured into that, and find different ways to grow whatever it is that he had in mind. Love him regardless, but still discipline him. Be able to come to me and talk to me about any and everything and not feel judged or not feel like you're gonna love me any differently and give me the guide and the map to say, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but here's how you get back up. Nobody taught me how to get back up. I had to learn that.
Mm. Mm. Oh,
Was
you dropping gems. You dropping gems.
So I think for me with my son, nothing keeps him down. Like if something happened, he coming, he like, Mom, this happened, but here's where I'm at now. Yeah, let's go. We got to keep going. Because life is going to life every day. Something's going to happen, right? But do you let a moment change the lifetime? Or you keep going and remember that moment and the moment you never want to feel again. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a buddy who told me that he like I said before, like he told me you could sit here and wallow and be sad and be in your feelings, but the world just gonna keep spinning, man. So it's like you want to get left behind, and boy, I swear I got my ass up that 1 second. I said, not today.
Okay.
Today. So
I tell my son, if you can't change it, don't let it change you. Keep
Ooh.
going.
Yeah.
Okay, come on with the word. Can you say it one more
going.
time? Because that might be a post that I put on social media. One more time for the people.
If you can't change it, don't let it change you. Keep going.
Yeah, definitely be a post. Look out for Firepit conversations. If you can't change it, don't let it change you. That's a word. Oh my. Whew. Okay, so I feel like, okay, we got enough time. I want to go back to the daddy situation.
Let's go back.
Okay, I want to go real quick. I just want to go back to the daddy situation a little bit. Curtis, Donald, Curtis.
Don Juan.
Don Juan.
Don Juan and
so
Jackson.
Was Curtis your father? Was Don your father? Was either one of them your daddy?
Yes, please. Oh, I get more straight liquor for this one.
Yeah.
So when I had finally left from around there, and I was always mean to Curtis, right? Just because I knew that you're not my daddy, bro. And he would always say, why you so mean to me? And I said, go take a test. And DSS once DSS takes you, they start trying to put people on child support. Right, that's a thing. So they couldn't serve him with child support because it was no proof he was my daddy. He hadn't signed no birth certificate. So they had court ordered him to take a DNA test. I showed up twice and he never came. So I didn't care that y'all wanted to get him for child support. I needed to know if this fella was my daddy. That's why I continued to show up. Okay. And so from 10 until 30, I did not know who was my daddy. Plot twist, I actually met Dawn the very next year after Curtis had beat me. So at 11, before I left my grandmother's house, I met Dawn. And when I first saw him, I was like, this is my daddy. Like I knew he was my daddy. And I kept in contact with him for years. We would talk on the phone. We would ride each other.
Ride each other? He was in jail?
He was in New York. No.
Oh, okay.
And I had never seen Curtis after I left my grandmother's house when he had beat me. But I had talked to him again when I was getting ready to graduate from high school. And I was like, so why haven't you taken the test? And he said, I did take the test. But nobody had ever told me anything, right? Mm-hmm. So right before my 30th birthday, matter of fact, Ronnie, that's when you had got your ancestry and was waiting. I was like, I should do this. Maybe I can find out who my daddy really is. But Don, the man in New York, had died 4 months prior to.
Mm.
And I was up there with him in New York, and when I went up there, he was like telling everybody, like I was his last child, and I was like, quit saying that because we really don't really know. And I said, well, while you up here, I can go ahead and get some of your little DNA so I can find out if you're my daddy. And he was like, don't do that. Let me die in peace. So I waited until he passed away, and I did my ancestry DNA test. And while waiting for my results, I just kept saying like, I just need one person last name to pop up with Wilson, and I'm okay to know that that's my daddy. Because if somebody named Presley pops up, it's gonna be a problem. But in the midst of me waiting for my results, I had gotten in contact with Curtis's brother, right?
Hmm.
And he was talking to me and he was like, oh yeah, I remember, I had met your grandma and my brother brought me down there and I met your mom and your grandma and your aunt and he told us that he had a baby and da da da. And I saw you. I said, you did? I said, well, what year was this? And he said, 1978. And I told him, I said, well, sir, you might have met somebody's grandmother and mother and even a daughter, but it wasn't me. I didn't get here to 89. And I hung up, and that was already enough confirmation for me that Curtis ain't my damn daddy outside of what I had already felt. But then my ancestry confirmed that Don was indeed my dad
Mm.
2 days before my 30th birthday,
And right after he passed.
right after he passed.
So what's your relationship? So what's your relationship with your mom now that I mean you went through a lot as a child, teenager, you had your baby, you're now a mother, things like that. What's your relationship like with your mom now?
My mom passed away 4 days after my 21st birthday. Um, so prior to her passing, we had started to get a relationship. I started to understand a lot of her side and how I ended up where I was. I didn't hate her for it. I had a little resentment until I got to hear her side of the story.
Hmm.
Um, she had this thing where she would say, everything I didn't get a chance to do for y'all, I'm gonna do for your grandson. And I used to tell her, because see, I remember your little false promises. Don't put that on my son. Don't make him ne'er promise you can't keep. But she did what she could have done, and she loved my son. That was my baby is her first grand. Um, so she got 2 years with him.
Hmm.
Um, and then she, like I said, passed away 4 days after my 21st birthday. So she went before my daddy.
Wow. And so what do you tell that kid? I mean, if you could speak to 10, 11-year-old Octavia, if you could speak to 15, 16-year-old Octavia in the system right now, what do you want to tell her? Like, what do you tell kids, young people who have experienced so much trauma and are still in this place of transition all the
Mm.
time? Like, what do you tell her? What do you tell them, that child?
It's easier said than being done. It hurts now, but it gets better.
Mm.
Mm.
And you get to choose how much better you want it to be.
Mm.
Who gets to choose?
You get to choose how much
Mm.
better it's going to be.
Hmm. And
Mm.
so, what have you, for you as an adult, 21, your mom passed, right, 29, your dad passes. What have you done to choose how good your life's going to be? What are some of those things that you've done?
I love me harder every day.
Hmm.
I love me better every day.
Hmm.
I have, instead of looking for the people who I think should be there to celebrate me, to encourage me, to love me, I appreciate the ones who chose to kind of stay here.
Mm. So you chose your family. You have now decided to choose your family.
Oh yeah, and we lit. We lit. It's a vibe. If you ever been in our company, you already know. Um, and we fight like family, we cuss each other out, we go without talking, but it's love and it's never to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what I love. You don't choose, you can't choose the family you come from, but you can choose the one you create, whether that's from children you birth or from the people you allowed in your space. And know that everybody don't have to have access to you, to them
Mm-hmm.
children in foster care. For people who have been violated, at that back then you didn't have the chance to or the voice to say who didn't have access to you. But baby, when you get up there, you can make that choice. It's the biggest flex you ever have.
Mm. It's a flex. I
It's
love
a
that.
flex.
I love that. I love that. I think that's the
A good,
episode.
yeah. I mean, I like we can end on that note because shit, I didn't know we had Maya, Miss Angelou, on
Y'all
the
know I
show.
y'all are my auntie.
Yes. Oh, that was so good. Thank you, Octavia. Thank you
Thank
for
Y'all
you,
welcome.
Octavia. That was a good one. I really thoroughly enjoyed your story. Um, I did, I did. And I applaud you for, like Ronnie said, just being open and being able to speak about this, stuff that goes on. There's a lot of people that don't have that strength, but it shows that you do. So we applaud you and definitely thank you for being a guest on our show. You know,
Anytime, anytime. Y'all know I love y'all.
all right. So I guess I'm gonna bring it to our probably our most popular section, other than our guest and our main section, is the what burns you up. I know
Mm.
what's burning up right there in Octavia. She got a little joint blunt burning up, but we want to know what burnt you up. In the past, we'll say 2, 3 weeks. We'll give you 2, 3 weeks. What
Okay,
has
that's
burned you
fair.
up?
I like that. I like that, Aaron. 2, 3 weeks. Oh, she thinking. Look at her.
So it's crazy that we having this episode, and this is what has burnt me up the last 2 to 3 weeks. Grief.
Mm, mm, Speak, please speak on that one.
Anybody who know me know that I don't be for that crying. And my story with my parents, I can tell like it's no tomorrow and not shed a damn tear. Because it was normal for me, right? It wasn't something when people hear about it, they were like, "Oh my God, it's so traumatic," and I'm like, "No, it's okay." My mom would have been 60 this year, and my
Mm,
dad would have been 69 this year,
mm,
and I grieved, and I was more so bothered at the fact that I was bothered by them not being here and being able to celebrate them. It was probably the my mom has been dead now 14 years. So this was the hardest year for me for her. I didn't really cry, but I was in my feelings. I was in my little moods. I went off on a couple of people I probably shouldn't have, or a few
mm,
folks' apology. But grief tore my ass up this year, and I didn't like it. So
Mm.
yeah,
And it's a lot of grief going on, man. We
Oh,
having people drop like I
like
don't want to say like
flies.
flies
guys.
because that's disrespectful, but that's what has been going on. What James Earl Jones, Rich Homie, a lot of these people, we just
Yeah.
losing people, man. It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Hmm.
Ronnie, what burned you up? And I know it's not a blunt or a joint because you
So
don't do
I'm
such
I'm
things.
gonna be very honest. So I started a new position at a new school
Oh,
last month. And so what has burnt me up is people in positions of authority who are unable to do the job in which they supervise. I don't understand how you got here, but you can't do the work. And, for me personally, my current supervision that I have, like, like a good supervisor, you'd be like, hey, yo, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. I don't know what I'm doing. Da, da, da. A good supervisor would be like, you know what? What can I do to help? What can I take off
right.
your plate? This one, this heifer be like, Oh, that do sound stressful to me. I can understand why you stress. No, bitch, I want you to help me out. Like, do something. Like, if you can't do my job, I don't think you should be able to supervise me. That's my thing. Like,
Mm,
that's just that's that on that. Like if you work in a call center, if you've never been on the phones, you should not be able to be the supervisor. If you work at
I agree.
McDonald's, if you've never flipped a burger, you should not be the manager. If you don't know how to do the job in which you are supervising, you should not be the supervisor. And
Correct.
mm.
that's what has burnt me up.
Oof.
I agree.
I
That
agree. I think that is that a common thing at every job?
I don't know. It feels like it's becoming more and more common in the jobs now. But
That
Hmm.
is fucking
I don't
ridiculous.
understand. You can't like I work in education, so I don't understand how you can teach a teacher to be a teacher, but you ain't never been a teacher. Shut up. You sound stupid.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
And don't say that degree because if you degree don't mean
Nothing.
nothing at
Nathan,
this
Nigga, I
point.
got multiple of degrees, and none of the things that I learned in school, none of that stuff matched my experience of the work that I've done.
Mm.
Like you should get a degree in life, baby, because
hello.
everybody has gone through something or overcome something or
Hmm.
is great in some aspect of their life. I don't you don't gotta go to school for culinary arts to be a good chef. You can
No.
just be a good chef. You can just cook good, put your pinky toe in the food, and the food is good
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
of the experience.
because of the experience. And so for me as a counselor, my current supervisor cannot help me because she don't know how to do my job, which she supervises me, and I don't understand like how we got here. I'm perplexed on
I
how
do
we
we
got
know how we
here.
got here, but I don't want to get us canceled.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say no names or nothing, but that's what
I
burnt
wasn't
me
gonna
up.
say names, but you know.
That either. We don't want to be canceled.
We don't want to be canceled. But Aaron, what burned you up this week?
Mine's gonna
And
be a
what'd you
little
say, two, three
simple.
weeks?
2, 3 weeks. Oh, the
Okay.
2, 3 weeks of burn ups. My Florida Gators playing football, looking like trash, hot ass dumpster juice. That's how my Florida Gators look.
Maybe they'll get better. You never know. It's the beginning of the season, right?
Oh, you know what? Can I say something else that burned me up? Because I'm just watching TV right now, and it just said breaking news: there were shots fired by Donald Trump. I'm tired of the politics again because I'm gonna say it again. Like y'all, there's a lot of people out there that are going to tarnish relationships because of the election.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want to definitely put that on what burned me up too. I'm tired of this shit. When do we vote? November 4th, 3rd, 2nd,
Something
5th,
like that.
6th, whatever. I- Let's get this shit over with. And we can start moving forward or backwards, no matter how you look at it. It don't matter. But that burned me up too. So, that's all I
Mm-hmm.
got for you.
And as a reminder, election day is November the 5th. If you're not registered to vote, please register. If you are out of state and you need to do an absentee ballot, please do that. This is an important election, y'all. So please don't be that person who says, I'm not voting at all. That's stupid. Vote.
You have a right use.
Yeah.
Hmm. There you go.
All right. Well, this has been another amazing conversation at the Fire Pit, and we appreciate our family, our friend, our guest at the Fire Pit, Octavia. We're going to give her a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us at the Fire Pit. And until next time, make sure to always have your drink
And or something to smoke, preferably both.
and come sit at the Fire Pit.